Hi everyone, my name is Felipe and today we are going to present the cultural differences between US and Brazil. So to start, let's talk a little bit of Brazil. Brazil is here in the world map. It's in the South America. It's the biggest country in South America, as you can see. And I will show you to be like as a quick presentation, just some landscapes of Brazil for you to have an idea of this huge country, how it is. Here is Rio de Janeiro is the one of the biggest city in Brazil and is our postcard for the world. Everybody know this city. Here is São Paulo, our financial city, is the biggest city in South America. Here are some native Brazilians in Amazon forest. Here are the Iguaçu Falls, and then we have like the favelas. A lot of you might have heard or have seen in some movies. It's like the slums, and we are very known by carnival and soccer. This is just like a quick presentation of our landscape, of our just a little bit of our culture. So let's go to some like facts. The population of Brazil is around 200 million. We are in the fifth in population size and the fifth in the area size. So it's the fifth biggest country in the world. Our language is Portuguese, and in the economy we are the eighth position. So we share some history with the US. We are both like countries in the New World. We were colonized, US by the English and Brazil by the Portuguese. The US became independent first. We became just in 1822, but nowadays we are a federative republic. And as the US, we are a country of immigrants. Some like cool fact about like São Paulo, it's that a lot of huge cities they have Chinatowns. We have a Japanese town, Japan town. Because of this huge immigration of Japanese that we had in the beginning of the 1900s. So let's talk a little bit about parameters, dimensions. We used the Hofstede cultural dimensions to analyze Brazil. Hofstede was a Dutch researcher. He started to research the cultural differences by comparing uh, different cultures. He started by surveys in IBM, but then like it extended beyond. He got more data. He started with four dimensions, and then two more were added. And these are the dimensions for Brazil and United States. I will be very brief about the each one of them. So power distance in Brazil we rank very high, 69, and US 40. That's power distance is how comfortable a society is with hierarchy. So in Brazil, you can see like this huge gap between like the employee and the boss, but here in the US is not that huge. The second one is individualism. As you can see, the US 91 is a very individualistic country. It's you by yourself, maybe your close family. In Brazil is different. It's all about relationship, like you exchange, you take care of your partners, they take care of you. It's all about loyalty. And this will be very important in as we continue our presentation. Masculinity is a dimension that talks about how competitive a society is. US is more competitive than Brazil. That tend to be like more. Um, Less competitive, like everybody has to win, but here in the US, the winner takes it all. But it's not like a huge gap. And then uncertainty avoidance. This dimension is how comfortable a society is with the uncertainty. So if we try to control a lot of our future, we started creating a lot of rules, a lot of laws, and as you can see for Brazil, this will be important as well when we talk about bureaucracy. In the US, they rank low. Usually they are more comfortable. There's a lot of integrity in business and stuff. That's why they rank low. These last two dimensions, Hofstede he discovered, um, he proposed them when he was like in Asia. So long-term orientation is how comfortable society is to change their manner. So for countries in the New World, we rank very low, especially US, like everything like there's a new idea, yeah, we'll take it. Ah, we are going to change everything in our work. That's more easy than for example Japan. They won't like change their how they were doing things so easily as would like a country in the New World. And indulgence is how about like society, so how you feel comfortable in doing what you want to do instead of doing what society expect. So in Brazil and US we rank very high. We don't care so much about society boundaries as like Asian countries that has a lot of traditions and like rituals to do stuff. So to start, one concept that we choose to talk more about is making friends. But making friends doesn't seem something like very related to business, but we'll get there because it's very important for Brazilians to first be friends with the person he is negotiating. So let's see a little bit of the differences. Usually when you meet a Brazilian, you have like the same politeness and funny topics and like conversation that we have with an American. But the difference is that to have a friendship with a Brazilian, it's a privilege and a responsibility. So you have to always like call them, to be in contact, to do things, expect things. So you have a lot of responsibility, and like for the Americans, they don't have this huge responsibility. Most of that because they are individualistic society. They are constantly moving because of college, jobs. Usually in Brazil we're more settled, and we usually talk more about our personal life. In the US, it's very rare. Um, Usually the connections in Brazil are made like by friends. So a friend of a friend is my friend. We hang out for anything, and usually we create this dependence on each other. Like to do stuff, we call, hey, come on, I don't see you for a long time, let's go out. But here in the US, it's more like when we share interests, we get together, usually in clubs, for example, and independence and privacy is very important for them. And usually when we get together at home, um, like Americans, they have very good hospitality, and they want you to feel at home. But in Brazil, we have this good hospitality, but we are so concerned about cleanness, organization, and we want to make the guest feel like very well at our house. And usually we even like give them food, like cafezinho and like some cheese balls, like as you can see, like cheese roll, Brazilian cheese roll. A lot of people like it. And invitations in the US has a time to start and end, and they are planned. But in Brazil, we don't have an exactly time to start, no time to finish, no planning. I can like just say, let's go home tonight. Yeah, let's go. No planning. And usually Americans take flowers, candies, and wine when they go like for a dinner invitation. We might bring some gifts, but no flowers. So now Sally will talk a little bit about business.